Hello, welcome to another Monday. I am Junkyard Rat. This is the Junkyard Rat Show, live from San Francisco, California. And my guest today is Dayton D. Andrews.
Thank you for having me today, Junkyard Rat. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm chilling on a Monday, bulling and cooling in the studio, you know?
I know. I noticed that Trump picked his VP, J.D. Vance. Is it J.D. Vance?
Senator J.D. Vance, I don't know exactly when, but today?
I guess it was this morning. I didn't realize the convention started this early.
Yeah, my election calendar is all fucked up due to
I
these
know.
events. You know, it's conventions. I mean, it's already decided.
Yeah.
What are we doing all this for?
Oh, it was election calendar. I thought it was erection calendar, so I was
Alright.
looking at the wrong one.
Excellent.
Election
There we go. I
calendar.
understand you have to keep track of that.
That's
over
another
time.
show. I know it's crazy. I thought it was going to be DeSantis from the governor of Florida. I thought he was going to be the VP choice.
Well, he was supposed to be president, you know, but he just kind of fumbled his national campaign. Like, he got really big in Florida by owning the libs, but he just, like, had no ability to do that nationally. And so his campaign, like, tanked pretty early on.
I think he's still going to become president.
Eventually, yeah. I think
have
he
a
has the
feel-
potential, yeah.
Because I think
He's a
it
candidate.
reminds me of 1968 where, you know, the Vietnam War is going. I mean, the Illuminati took out Robert Kennedy because he wanted to end the war. So
Allegedly.
Allegedly, and then they got Nixon in there because he was going to escalate the war. And DeSantis was in the military. I'm thinking we're going to need a president in there who's military based, because eventually we're going to have to go to Ukraine and help, like, get Ukraine to beat Russia. And
Well,
then
there's a lot you're throwing down in just like that 30-second clip. I love it. But I feel like it's the thing with like presidents, like the whole thing of like is the president gonna escalate or end the war? It's like every single time the president has like always escalated the war. Like LBJ was supposed to end the war and he
Yeah.
escalates the war. Right, Nixon was supposed to win the war, escalates the war, lose the war. Barack Obama was supposed to end the wars, escalates all the wars. So it's like, I think, you know, DeSantis is the man. Whatever man it put in, he's like the man who's going to escalate the war. You know, like,
yeah, because he wasn't. But Trump didn't go to war. I mean,
Trump went to war less, right? But it's like
Yeah.
when we have 800 military bases, it's just kind of like how much war. You know, I think I only want 2 war, not full 7 war, not like 8 war, just like 2 low key war,
Yeah.
like just the bombs, just the drones, no boots. You know, we're always at a consistent like 2 or 3 war. You know,
that scares me. You know, they got these drone shows. There's one at the Oakland A's game this Friday. And I'm like, somebody's gonna weaponize the drones.
well, they can weaponize them to they already do that, right? But they like weaponize them to even that they have like the stealth assassin drones. Have you heard that? Have you heard of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like well, instead of like an explosive, like the warhead of the rocket is just like razor blades.
Mhm.
So they just like fire this little rocket from a drone and it just unravels into just a bunch of razor blades that just like shreds you to death. Like it's supposed to be like their stealth weapon, right?
That's
With
what
the
I'm
explosive.
thinking. Eventually, we're just gonna be sending robots to war. You know, I don't know why Putin doesn't have a bunch of robots
They
fighting. a
do.
war.
They have like the the Ukrainians and the Russians all have different drones. Like the
Yeah.
Ukrainians have like those little assassin drones. Will be like basically the same type of drones they have in the at these drone shows, right? Like a little 4-bladed drone, and it just drums over and it'll just like drop a little package on top of like a tank or people or a transport vehicle or something, and just like blows it up.
Yeah. I had no idea that they tried to kill Trump. I was at a dispensary on Saturday, and nearby actually a weed lounge,
Mm.
and at one point it cleared out, and I was wondering where everybody went, and then somebody sent me a picture of Trump bloody, but I thought it was a joke. I didn't realize. I didn't even bother to check the news.
Yeah, I mean, this close after the event, it's like it's very rude to like sort of use words like false flag,
Yeah.
but like the timing and the context are just like so good, you know?
But when I was in Vegas, like in the beginning of, I think it was the beginning of June, there was a Trump rally. I saw the Trump plane,
Oh wow.
and I was surprised that he actually had painted Trump, because I'm thinking I knew somebody was gonna try and get him then,
Mm-hmm.
So, but the other thing that I'm wondering, why aren't they doing these rallies indoors? I mean, you can clear a rally indoors. It's easier to check everybody if the rally's indoors. Outdoor rallies are a big problem.
Well, but it's also like it's their big cash cow. You know, the Trump campaign, like they make so much of their money from having these big spectacles. you
Yeah.
know? Like Trump's got a good 2-3 hours that he's trying to do, and he's willing to perform like in any venue. Like,
Yeah.
shooters be damned.
He's got a 3-hour set, and I
Yeah.
haven't seen his special on Netflix yet, but I'm waiting for it to break.
Oh, he's definitely on kick.
He's
You know,
gonna
he's
do it.
like,
He's on kick.
he's on kick. He used to be on YouTube until recently. You know, he's back on Twitter with his putting his sets on.
I used to watch The Apprentice. Did you ever watch The Apprentice? That was
I watched it occasionally. You know, I was pretty young when during that show's heyday.
I just found I was going through a whole bunch of stuff. You know how you get all these free things from events, like little knapsacks and stuff.
Mm.
I have one that says The Apprentice with Donald Trump's image on it.
Hell yeah.
And it
uh,
was like NBC on
That's
Tuesdays or
memorabilia.
whatever. That's worth something.
That's real memorabilia.
remember Schwarzenegger did the final season? Then they canceled
Yeah, remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California?
it? It's because
Remember
Schwarzenegger.
when he was in the Terminator?
You can't say you're fired, right? You're fired. People are like, they're confused. Did you just say I'm fired? Oh, you're
He
fired.
can't say California either. He says cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Oh,
Cauliflower.
no.
California. Yeah.
He was the last Republican elected to office, like statewide office in California. We haven't had any Republican even come close. We might get one. Steve Garvey's running for senator. Steve Garvey was my brother's favorite player growing up.
Yeah.
Well, you're from LA. Do you?
Mhm.
Are you a Steve Garvey? Are you a Dodger fan or?
I mean, I tell people that, but I'm not a big sports guy. So my experience with sports is normally men try to talk to me about sports, and then I just kind of like hunt for context clues to figure out what to agree with.
Oh yeah.
You know, just sort of passively nod my head. You know, yeah. But I feel like with like having a Republican governor, it's like such a because Newsom has like he's really been doing like the media tour for quite a long time.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, for most of his political career. You know, that's why he's in such good position to actually replace Biden. You know, if they're smart.
Yeah. Well, he moved his kids out of Sacramento. He put them back in Marin.
Oh, he's up to something.
And see,
He's up to something.
and I think he's like campaigning. He's campaigning
He's
all.
been campaigning.
He's campaigning all over the country and stuff.
Well, I remember like my first time even being aware of who Gavin Newsom was when I was in undergrad, and he was somebody who was like talking about student demonstrations against tuition hikes. Right.
Yeah.
So even like, that was over 10 years ago. Even then it was him like him trying to appeal to young people outside of his district, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
he wasn't at state level office. So this is part of his 10, 15-year plan.
Yeah. Did you
Right?
buy into that? Like, oh my God, that guy cares about us.
Yeah, it's really just for the recognition, right? Because I don't really think,
That guy cares about us.
GOP, DNC, birds of a feather flock together.
Well, I remember when he was mayor of San Francisco. Like, I heard a lot of people didn't like. There's still people in San Francisco who hate Gavin
Yeah,
Newsom.
but people also don't like when you
because
fuck
of
your
that.
best friend's wife,
Oh yeah, he fucked his best friend. I think he went to rehab on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fucked his best friend's wife who worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he got married and had kids because he realized, hey,
And his ex-wife ended up being like a Trump campaign staffer.
Yeah,
You know?
his ex-wife ended up dating like was it Donald Trump Jr.?
Yeah, yeah, one of the
One,
JRs.
yeah, one of the Trump. She's on Fox News or something. But it makes sense because I mean that's how those people roll, you know. They're all in the little circle of life. Back then it wasn't a big deal that you were a Democrat, you were banging a Republican. Now it's a no-no. But
Well, even the
back,
time, Donald Trump and the Trumps and the Clintons, they used to be like,
oh yeah,
part of the same social system. New York, just New York rich people, New York liberals.
they used to ride the Epstein plane together.
Yeah, they
didn't
rode the Epstein plane. Yeah, they're all on the plane.
You got two sides complaining about the other one, kicking
Yeah.
with Epstein. Like,
All kicking
no,
it.
you were there on the plane 10 times. We were only there 9 times, motherfucker. Like, oh. At least Biden never rode the Epstein plane. He was smart enough not to ride any
Or he
Epstein
was
plane.
not considered like cool enough to be invited on the plane.
Yeah, I don't
'Cause
think
that
he
was the thing with
was.
Epstein. Epstein's whole thing was like on being like a connect.
I know.
Right? He liked to surround himself with like intelligent, famous, culturally, politically significant people, and then record them shitting on children.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's what Diddy does too. He recorded a bunch of these people.
He's like the black people version.
Yeah.
He's like our people's version of that. So.
I can't. I mean, I hope Diddy goes on trial because I want to see some of these videos of Diddy having sex with rappers. You know, like if there's videos of Diddy banging like rappers, I want to see it. Damn it.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
not
we all
into.
want that.
I'm not into like gay porn, but I mean, there's some things I would even watch, and I'd be like, yes. Diddy banging rappers. I mean, what's wrong with that?
I feel like he would definitely get hung in a New York prison before we could see some of that stuff,
Maybe.
you know?
Somehow that guy, I don't know why they won't even. I mean, they made a big case and went into his house, but they haven't even charged him. Like,
Well, he's we have to look this up, but he's coming up into some legal scrutiny now recently. But again, it goes back to the fact that he's like the black version of that.
yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, the Democrats. They had Epstein. They got Diddy, Weinstein. I mean, they have a whole host of these people. Like, the Republicans. They're just smarter. They got their people. They're not Hollywood people who pull this shit. They're business techies and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like also the GOP, like they sacrifice their young, right?
Yeah.
So we tend to hear about like small town, stateside GOP people like getting caught up in pedophile rings
Yeah.
versus like gigantic GOP donors.
Yeah. This is like Black Monday for a lot of people because they're going to be going to their job and they're going to get fired because of all their Trump posts on Facebook and social media. Like, people don't realize that these jobs, they check your social media these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's one good thing about me. I got no job to lose. I think some people are going to show up to their job. They'll be canned right away.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's why I'm thankful for my union representation.
If I had a good job, I wouldn't be on social media.
No,
at all.
absolutely not. Well,
What is your union? What union?
I'm the United SF Educators of San Francisco.
Oh, okay, yeah. How's that going?
I mean, it's a teachers union.
How's your summer going? Are you in summer school?
It's like,
or-
I was actually teaching extended school year this last month, but that's now over. Now the kids are fully outside for the next month before they have to go back to school. Do you remember school starting in August? I don't remember school starting in August when I was a kid.
So.
Now school starts in August for the kids.
I remember it used to end in June, and now it ends in May.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, it would start in September. It always started in September. I don't know, August and stuff. I don't know.
It's like people just really couldn't start going to school so close to September 11th. They just started
Yeah,
shifting it up. I feel like.
yeah. The whole school. I mean, it's been like what, over 30 years. I graduated in '91, so. But yeah, I can't even comprehend how I used to wake up to go to school. Like, how I would be in class at 8 in the morning every day. Like,
Yeah, eating cereal every morning. Is crazy.
yeah, to me, it's like I don't even know how I did any of that. Really, like now it's like, can I go to class at noon?
Yeah.
Like, can I be there at 1? How about 3?
It really helps you just have your hand held the whole time.
Oh yeah,
Like the fact that children are dependent really makes the whole thing work. Cause we can't do shit.
yeah. I killed it at Kel's this Friday.
Achilles?
At Kel's, I was at
Oh, right,
Kel's
cows, okay.
Friday, and in fact, some woman in the audience, well, they were talking about pets. She said that she had a bearded dragon. She had two bearded dragons.
That's
right?
too many bearded dragons.
So when I got on stage, I'm like, she's talking about pussy, right? I mean, bearded dragon.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I thought bearded dragon, and I fucking killed
I've
it.
seen that lady's bearded dragon.
And then I
Wow.
started calling it regional pussy. It's a regional pussy because I didn't want to be racist. Like, I think she's talking about Asian pussy because it's a dragon, right? But I fucking killed it. And then I got home and I realized there is a bearded dragon.
Yeah,
So-
it's an actual reptile. People own those things. Yeah, the exotic pet ownership is always very interesting to me because there's so many different
Yeah.
levels to it, right? You think of like Midwestern states where people can buy lions and tigers and bears and shit. But then you think about people having like not Komodo dragon, but like bearded dragons, giant iguanas,
Yeah.
pythons. You know, for me, like I'm hesitant even just to even have a cat or a dog because I just don't want to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it to be have to be responsible for it, and then for it not to be able to like, you know, take care of me when I'm old.
Yeah.
I'd like some reciprocity to the relationship.
Yeah, she said she had two of them. I thought she was a pimp or something. I'm like,
Ew.
she's out there, got two lesbian girlfriends. She's like pimping them out. And a loser friend of mine who goes to the shows, he's like, why you say that about her? She left. I was trying to fuck her. And I'm like, dude,
That's like a you problem.
she's standing right here. She hasn't left, dude.
Yeah,
She's like,
just-
what do you mean she's out here just talking to the guy who runs the show?
Talk about forgetting.
She's not
your
even
mission.
upset. I was gonna try and fuck her. I'm like, dude, you're a dumbass, dude.
Talk about like just blowing your cover. you
yeah,
know?
that she's right here, dumbass.
You have to commit to the end, man.
Yeah, and it was weird because the person who was working the door, she's like a professor at a junior college, and I think the audience was really her students, right?
Oh,
I think because we had like a messenger group chat that we throw out before every show, and she's like, "Oh, there's like a returning audience tonight. I hope they don't realize I'm doing the same jokes." And later on, I looked at these people. I'm like, these are college students. They must be her students.
oh
But
wow.
she didn't tell us that. So I was like,
And were they fucking with her? They were like as an audience.
no, they were a good audience.
That's good. Well,
There is some bad audiences. There are some
But it's also
bad.
when you bring your own. That's the benefit of bringing your own
Yeah.
crowd. You know.
But I mean, your students are younger. But if you were a junior college professor, would you tell your students to come and watch you? Or
That's a really good question. I don't think so. You know, because I feel like in terms of like just that professional boundary, I think it's one thing to like you know, socialize with people from your work life, but I think it's a different thing when you have like separate careers. You know, obviously, I guess if it's just like your hobby and you feel comfortable sharing that. But for me
yeah.
myself, because like you know, like my comedy is like free of expression, and you know, at
Uh-huh.
work, as particularly as even like a black person, I'm not gonna fucking freely express shit on the job,
I know.
especially around children,
I know.
families, my boss. God knows. So why the fuck when I invite those people to like the place where I do that? You know?
Yeah. I'm like you. I don't have my family come down.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like I'm okay with them knowing. I'm okay with them
Yeah.
like enjoying the material on their own. But if they were to say like, "Hey, could you get me tickets to a show?" Absolutely not. You can buy your
No.
tickets. I'm not going to stop you, but there's no way I'm going to assist you watching me. do
Yeah.
this.
It doesn't bother me that my parents don't watch my stand up. I'm like, they don't like me anyway. I don't think
Yeah, I also
they don't
want
like
them
my
to
comedy.
I also don't want them to have anything to say about the stuff
Yeah.
I say, potentially about them. You know?
Yeah, they're paranoid. Like, are you talking bad about me? I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe.
If I talk about my roommate, does that include my mom I live with? I mean, do you take offense about that? You know, my roommate, damn it, my roommate. I don't know.
that's a respectful term. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I do say things that I do say things about my mom once in a while. but-
Well, you know, that's
know?
that's what she gets for having a baby. You know,
That's
Like,
right.
Eventually, the baby can talk bad about you at some point.
That's
Sometimes
right.
it's to your friends. Sometimes to a crowd of strangers in a night.
Yeah. So yeah, our TV something happened on our TV like the screen went blank, but the audio still worked.
Mm.
It turned into like a radio.
Damn.
And I'm thinking these days somebody could have hacked me, right? I mean, all these TVs go through the internet, so
Yeah, I mean, you think of like smart TVs, just all the different sensors they have. Some of them even have cameras, some of the newer ones, right?
oh yeah, they got cameras. I read an article. The reason why TVs are so cheap is because they actually make money off of us. You know,
Oh yeah.
they sell our info. They know what we're
They
watching.
can have a what is it? Uh, because they're getting money through these different subscriptions and partnerships with other companies.
Yeah,
It increases their margin. That's what I meant.
like 30 years ago, you would have to ask people what they were watching, right?
Yeah,
These days, they know what we're watching.
I know
so-
exactly.
yeah.
And they can, have directed, targeted ads towards you. Like, it's just crazy, like how they have integrated the marketing so much. You think of what it means to have like a DVD player or like a video game console like 20 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
you got the console, and like what you did with the console was your business. What it looked like. The type of things you watched versus now, like if I, have some kind of integrated streaming service in my TV, I turn on and it's already like promoting different types of shows to me. But not just that, maybe it's
Yeah.
also even showing me products as I'm sifting through my shows. And sure, I can pay more to not have to see those things. Why
Yeah.
the fuck am I going to pay an additional fee after I've already spent, $300 and something on a television?
Yeah. I mean, you got Netflix, you got Prime, and now they charge you for this and charge you for that. I mean, how much TV can you watch? I mean, I don't know how much TV can you watch.
I barely watch a
Do
lot
you have
of
a-
TV.
I-
I'm a YouTuber. I watch YouTube. I enjoy
Yeah.
that. But in terms of like sitting down on the couch to watch television, rarely. Very rarely.
I went in, yeah, for a couple of days, my TV didn't work. So I did a lot of YouTube, and I think I saw 30 programs about how fucked up the Kardashians are.
Yeah, I love that. shit. I love the celebrity breakdown.
I know.
I also love supercuts of reality TV, so I have
Yeah.
to watch it.
I didn't realize the Kardashians have a church. They got a church.
Like their own chapel or
They-
their own
no,
denomination.
they got a church. They got a real church. But you got to pay like $1,000 a month just to be in the church.
Interesting.
It's one of these
What
rich
denomination
church-
is it?
I don't know the Christian Church of Kardashian Science. I don't fucking know what they are. Are they
That's
anything?
worth a Google
I don't
search.
know. But like the church has been around for like 20 years. It's like, how the fuck you got a church? You can't just own a church, can you? Like,
Well, I mean, you can definitely own the building, or maybe it's a part of like some type of company,
yeah.
right? That owns the building and like then reserves the services of like whatever religious authority operates within it.
Yeah, I heard the Throckmorton Theater in Mill Valley is up for sale, and I thought we saved it, but it turns out it wasn't the Throckmorton. I get the Throckmorton confused with the Back to the Future movie. That's Hill Valley, and this is Mill Valley.
Yes.
So I thought, are they trying to say the clock tower? But no, that's something else. I get them confused.
Oh wow. And so the club is closing. When's its last night?
I don't know. They're trying to sell it, but I actually saw Robin Williams there like years ago.
Oh wow.
I haven't been back because I don't know where the fuck Mill Valley is. I don't even know.
South of here.
I know where's Mill Valley.
I
Like,
spent so little time on the peninsula. So
I know it's a bunch of rich people down there. They got a film festival, but like, I figure they're just gonna sell the place and sell the name, or just move it somewhere else or something.
Well, I mean, it's a tough time to have a brick and mortar venue, like
Yeah.
especially in the Bay Area, right? Our economic recovery was the slowest, so it's just pretty hard to keep your doors open, if you're not getting a lot of consistent traffic. They just opened a new club in San Francisco.
Yeah, the function.
The function.
Have you been to the function?
Yeah, I've been to there a couple times this last week.
Did you get on?
Yeah, I managed to get on a couple times.
How is the club? How did you do?
It's a vibe. It's a real vibe right now. It's like the hot new spot. So, it's got a lot of good foot traffic. There's been a lot of comedians going through there. They've had a couple shows these last few weekends. So, it's like the new hot spot to be in San Francisco. I'm gonna
It's
try to
right
get
by
out there.
here, maybe like.
Yeah, it's right just 2 blocks over here. It's a
Yeah.
walk over.
I pass it when I I go from my Starbucks
Yeah.
to Mo Green's.
But yeah, you should roll through some point this night. Check
I
Bay Area Comedy Network.
Yeah.
And we'll see when there's a mic.
I'm not on bacon though. I got thrown out of bacon.
What'd you do?
I don't know. It's been like 10 years ago.
Maybe you should ask to get back on.
I think I don't know. Fuck bacon. I don't know.
Bacon,
Fuck
no.
bacon.
Well, it's like
I'm on bacon. I'm not on bacon. I'm on
Yeah.
bacon. I don't know. I should make up some fake Facebook.
like
But
a burner account. So
I
you
mean,
get it
you're on
going.
bacon.
Yep.
What kind of stuff is in there these days?
Well, that's where us degenerates post opportunities to share our art form with the people. And
Yeah.
usually by the people we mean each other
Oh yeah.
in preparation for our show. So I don't know. There's not much to really add to that.
I know. I mean, is it worth it? Do you like look at it all a lot during
Oh yeah,
the day?
absolutely, absolutely.
Do you argue with people and stuff?
No. Well, I feel like just with with any industry, any field, we really have to network, right? And so we network with the tools at our disposal,
Yeah.
And I would say that already in a depressed economy where it's so hard to be doing comedy, doing good comedy the way we want to do.
Yeah.
It's like all this drama really kind of really hurts everybody, right? So I will say I really try to just be positive and make connections with the people I encounter doing this stuff.
Yeah, because I'm in a Vegas Facebook group page, and
Mhm.
somebody asked about the monorail. I was like, "Fuck the monorail! The monorail doesn't go anywhere in Vegas."
No.
Next thing I know, that was the end. They froze. They froze that question. I guess the Vegas people are they were controlling it. Like, don't talk bad about the monorail.
Well,
Somehow,
it's also people are supposed to talk about getting booked on shows in there.
no, this is like a tour.
Oh,
It's not a
tourist
comedy.
page.
It's not a comedy. It's like
Okay, all
it's
right.
like the My Vegas. It's like
You had me thinking you were trolling on some booker's page.
well, MGM they have these video slot machine games where you earn points to get free rooms.
Damn.
Right. So yeah, they have this Facebook page, and people ask questions about it. And one of the deals is you can get free tickets to the monorail.
You're like, fuck the monorail.
But the monorail makes sense if you got to go to a convention because it stops at a convention and 4 other hotels, right?
Okay.
So it
So
makes
it's just for that.
yeah. But what I was trying to say is the monorail doesn't go. It's not like BART.
No, absolutely not.
It has
Which also sucks.
yeah, it has 6 stops. So basically, I was saying.
Talking about BART or the monorail?
The monorail. I like doing the monorail. It's not even close to the hotel, so when it's 110 degrees, it's gonna be hot anyway. You're gonna be outside going from the monorail to the hotel. So, but the next thing you know, somebody responded to my comment, and then it was frozen, and then you weren't allowed to comment on the monorail section.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, these people they get down, they get down. They're like, you can't diss the monorail, motherfucker.
You can't diss their business. Yeah.
You
They're
can't
trying
come to
sell
Vegas
tickets.
anymore. You fucking diss the monorail.
We're trying to sell tickets. Yeah.
All I was trying to say is I mean, the monorail sucks because I bought a day pass last time I was there, and I'm basically going
Where would you stay?
I was in downtown, and I was at the Apache Binions.
Okay.
But the monorail doesn't even come close to downtown.
Yeah.
I think it starts at the Sahara.
Mhm.
I think it goes to Westgate. I think Caesars. I think the Link. And then Caesars. And I think there might be one more stop. And the convention center. And I realize that it's good if you're in the convention, because you go from the convention center to whatever hotel you're in.
Oh, yeah, it's their investment.
But they're like, the monorail. I'm like, fuck the mono. And the next thing I know, they just froze it. And I'm like, that's just how people do it,
Going against the current.
Yeah. I'm
Going
like,
against the grain. Speaking truth to power.
I know. But it makes sense who runs these Facebook groups. They're probably people who work for the MGM company.
absolutely.
You know, so
Or like adjacent in some way.
yeah, the monorail. Have you been on the monorail?
No. Never been, well, I've also never stayed at any of those hotels, so it's never made
The
sense.
Caesars, the
Yeah, no, no.
I know. I mean, those are hotels you would save you in the convention. You know, they're
Exactly.
because you know you probably get deals. I've never been to a convention in Vegas either. Like, I mean, I know they got them all the time, but I've never been there for a convention. So,
Nah.
but yeah,
Or maybe this coming year is the time, just gotta go to a
Maybe.
convention, ride the monorail, change your opinion.
Ride the monorail. Hell yeah, I got off at Caesars. I rode the monorail. I actually bought a day pass because I'm like it's hot as fuck. I'm just gonna be riding the monorail
hot
for
as
a couple hours, and I'm like, this monorail sucks, you know. And I'd rather ride the Deuce. They got a bus that goes from downtown to like the strip called the Deuce. But yeah, have you ever been on the monorail in Vegas, or you never rode the monorail in Vegas? No, you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So the monorail in Vegas, no, but I almost rode, what was it, the roller coaster on top of the Stratosphere.
Oh yeah. No, the monorail sucks.
I'm trying to remember. There's one that goes down the strip.
No, it goes from like I think Sahara to the convention center to like Caesars.
Oh, you know what? I did go on like one of those, and we went from whatever hotel it was to the convention center because we were there for some Star Trek bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Star Trek bullshit.
Yeah, some Star Trek
I
bullshit.
can't imagine
That's the
you're.
type of convention I'd like to go to.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Are you
I
a
wouldn't
Trekkie or?
cosplay.
No, my friend was a Trekkie, and it was funny because I got free airline tickets to wherever, and I ended up going to Vegas, and I had an extra one, and I took my best friend,
Damn.
which was a pretty good deal. I want to go take my mother and my cousin to the airport in San Jose for, where were they going? They were going somewhere, Washington, and they got bumped on their flight, and so they gave them an extra set of tickets, and each one of them got an extra set of tickets.
Oh,
And one of them gave me their set of tickets because I had to sit there and wait with them for the next plane.
Damn.
I see
And
your
all I
plan
did
was-
is have dinner with them anyway.
These-
It was my parents. It was my mom.
These days you can't even wait in the airport anymore. Like,
Nah, you have to drop them off.
if
and
you don't
get
got a
out.
ticket, they won't even let you inside anymore.
No, you cannot
right?
wait.
You
with
can't even go in there to.
No.
I thought you just couldn't go past security. You can't even go in the.
Well,
know
the
you-
security's
Well,
pretty
I
close.
just got to drop off this bomb. I'll be right back.
Well, like with OAK and SFO, the security's right there once you get inside. You know.
I had to go through security twice because I left my credit card out on the counter,
Right.
and
That'll do it.
then they called my name. It's always fun. Have you ever been in an airport when they called your name, like Chris Kubikusi, come to the counter? I'm like, oh fuck, what did I do? What did I do? Chris Kubikusi, come to the counter. I'm
We
like,
found white powder.
I know what the fuck did
Yeah,
I
You
do?
have your the EBT card.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish it was my EBT card because I don't got one. That'd be cool. They found it.
Oh,
But.
man, no,
Yeah, but no, I have this. I have a credit. I have like a WWE credit card. I have a prepaid credit card. It's a WWE.
Like it's WWE themed, or it's
Yeah,
like through their company.
it's like a theme. No, it's not
Okay.
their company. I
I
think
was about
it's.
to say, like, wow,
I
they're
think
really
it's
diversifying
Netspend or something.
their industry
Netspend.
from just entertainment to banking. Wow.
Yeah, I know, but
Going the way of crypto and Litecoin.
I think it's the best credit card because people automatically think I'm broke and they won't rob me. Like,
Yeah,
WWE must be broke, you know. Like,
I mean that'd be a pretty fair, judgment,
I
right?
know. I thought it was great. Like, WWE. This guy's got no money.
There's nothing to steal.
These
I mean,
are-
the card was still there when you got
Oh
one back
yeah,
there,
I
right?
mean,
So,
no, I think I was using it to check in on the computer.
okay, so you just left it right
I think
there.
I left it there, but yeah, somebody turned it in, and I went through.
Damn, they
I-
felt bad. They tried to swipe that card, looked at it, was like, nah, there's no way this guy's got money.
I had bought.
We gotta.
I had
we gotta
bought like
do the
some
right
Mountain
thing.
Dew, and I had to like dump it because I had to go through security again. So I had to dump my Mountain Dew. It was awful. I should have sued.
It's just
I
is
should
the
have.
for the
I
Mountain
should
Dew.
have sued. I should have sued. It was crazy. It was hash week. On Wednesday is like was 710, which is like it's like the concentrate day, but it was hash week.
Says who? Who decided it was the concentrate day on July 10th?
Because it's been that way. I think the dispensaries said it,
Okay.
trying to sell because it's like 420. So I think I think it's 710 because I thought 710 was the temperature that the rigs were on when, but it turns out if 710 upside down is oil.
Oh.
But
17 upside down is oil.
yeah, but yeah, the dispensaries have been trying to get another holiday in there to get us to buy some shit.
That's solid though. That's really clever.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to Mo Greens and then I got addicted.
Mo Greens.
I've been to Mo Greens like I was there 4 days in a row
Yeah,
because
that's down bad.
I had to buy some concentrate because I wanted a dab, and it was like $40.
You had
for
to
a-
concentrate on buying some concentrate.
Yeah, it was like $40.
You had to. It took you 4 times to get as much as you needed.
So yeah, I would go in there and I would buy like some. I bought a joint because you got to buy something to go. Have you been to Mo Greens?
No, I've never been to Mo Greens.
Yeah, it's like maybe 2 blocks from here, but
All right. Hit
so
it.
you buy a joint to get in to use their lounge area.
Okay.
and,
Okay.
Then the guy in front of me in line is like, they are making me buy something, but I don't like joints. I'm like, well.
So why are you gonna weed you?
So he gave me, he wanted a dab, but he gave me his joint. But yeah, they were having hash week. But hash, how the fuck you even smoke hash? You know, like you can't dab it. You can put it in a pipe, but
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. You put it in a pipe, put it in your bowl.
yeah. But hash week is weird. Like nobody smokes hash. you
Yeah,
know?
they'll smoke oils.
Yeah.
Concentrates.
Concentrate. What about moon
But also
rock?
people smoke hash. You know, they just can't
Oh.
do mixing the things. When I was
Yeah.
a kid, that would be the kid with the smoker kids would try to like crush up hash and roll up cigarettes with it.
Yeah, and they're like, well, you can roll it into a joint. And then I was thinking about buying hash because it was cheaper than concentrate, but then they wouldn't let me use it on the rig. They got a bunch of rigs set up. They got a booth full of rigs and
When I was a kid, we would take the hash and we'd like roll it up into like a little line. And you just like place that in the center of the joint and you roll the rest of your weed around the hash. So it's like the wick of a candle.
oh yeah. You see, you should have been. It's still going on.
messed up.
I think at 5:30 tonight they're doing an event at the Urbana on the Mission on 29th and Mission. But that's another place that I gotta buy something to get in. I'd rather just stick with Mo Greens, you know.
Not diversify.
They know me at Mo Greens and stuff, you know. It's
I was actually doing a mic at the Union Station dispensary last Friday.
oh yeah, how did that go?
It was a pretty good night, you know. It's like an
Yeah.
intimate little crowd. There's a lot of the regulars who hit up that lounge. They just let you walk in and use the lounge. As
Yeah.
long as you show your ID.
Yeah, Union Station's probably the chillest of all the lounges.
Yeah, it's really chill. We'll actually be doing another show this Friday.
Oh yeah.
As well, yeah.
What about, have you been to the Mission Cannabis?
Mission Canvas, yeah. I've actually done a show there a few months ago
Yeah.
for Halloween, actually.
Oh yeah,
A
they
Halloween show
they
there,
have a
actually.
comedy. Even Mo Green's house on Friday, I think they do comedy. I think
Oh, Greens is coming in Friday?
Comedians are whores for cannabis clubs.
yeah, Hella Funny.
Even though they can be very hit or miss for comedy.
I think Hella Funny runs all those shows. They run one at Mo Green's too. But
All right, I want you guys to pick a topic that's related with San Francisco. Okay, a 16-year-old surviving the streets of San Francisco. Hippies in San Francisco. Huey Lewis in the news in San Francisco. Mark Wahlberg. Or O.J. Simpson. Pick a topic. We'll watch a smart clip and then you can discuss.
Is Mark
O.J.
Wahlberg?
Simpson.
Is Mark Wahlberg in
O.J.
San
Simpson.
Francisco?
He discusses San Francisco, and he's from San Francisco.
Huey Lewis in the News is a great band.
Mark Wahlberg is from
So-
San Francisco.
So no, I'm giving you all clips that are related with San Francisco,
I'm a big
and they're all throwback clips.
Let's
Okay.
You guys have not seen these clips, and if you have, you watched way too much Instagram.
let's do OJ.
All right, so
do
let's jump on to OJ. Let's see
Let's
what
do
we got
OJ.
for you guys. I want
do
you guys
OJ.
to discuss this. And here we go. Let's see if it works. I hope it works. We'll see. Hold on. Maybe. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotcha. Sorry. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is O.J. Simpson. O.J., good to see you. I'm all right. How are you? Let me ask you about your childhood. What kind of kid were you?
What kind of kid was I?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's so long ago. No, I was a good kid. I guess I got in trouble a lot. I was aggressive like most kids. I grew up in San Francisco at the absolute best time you could be growing up anywhere, as far as I was concerned. It was the middle of the 60s. All of a sudden, the beatniks were my age. They were hippies, and all the girls were running away, coming to San Francisco looking for places to live. Me and my boys would find them places to stay in the park.
You'd show them to the park, would you?
No, it was a great time to be in San Francisco. I was a little aggressive. Got into a little trouble, but for the most part, sports pulled me out. Yeah, I went to a high school in San Francisco called Galileo. So when I got out of high school, I didn't get any scholarship offers. It wasn't because of my grades. I had pretty decent grades, but I was a home economics major. You know?
No.
When I left high school, I couldn't read or write, but I can cook my butt off. I went to City College of San Francisco, and it was a good time because a lot of guys were, coming back from the Army, getting out of jail. So we had a lot of great players there, and we won a lot of games, and then all the schools were after me. When I got older, I met Richard Burton. I did a movie with Richard Burton years ago. It was called The Klansman. And this guy came up to us 2 nights ago and says, "Man, Juice, I saw you in this movie, and man, you were the bad guy. You were killing all of these guys." I said, "I wasn't a bad guy. I was killing all these Klansmen."
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. He wasn't killing all these guys. Yeah. I think your face says it all right there, Dayton.
Well, I just okay.
Okay.
So,
What do we do?
it's only funny because he killed his wife and her friend,
Right.
Because,
It's only funny.
No, it's all okay. It is funny because, OJ had jokes. He had great comedic timing, which is such a shame.
He has a
because,
great personality. Even so if you ever see Naked Gun 33 1/3.
Allegedly, he killed his wife.
Oh, come
Allegedly.
on.
That's
Allegedly.
like saying allegedly he was up for
He
Academy
wasn't convicted.
Award.
He
He
wasn't
wasn't allegedly up for that. Actually, I'm pretty sure that happened.
He was never convicted for it.
I saw him running through an airport.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it might have been a Hertz commercial, but I saw him running through an airport trying.
Well, it's just the juxtaposition between his because he's always been so ubiquitous, right?
Right.
Like first is like a sports icon as an actor, and then it's just like a social pariah. So it's just so funny to have that throwback because it kind of just it's so menacing, everything he says is menacing.
Well, every time when somebody says something in you kind of look back and go, "Oh wow." Even I think it was Louis C.K. I started looking at all his comedy after he had been exposing himself to other people. I'm like, of course he was.
Mm-hmm. That's his whole joke.
That's his whole fucking thing.
I
He's pretty
think
clear about
He
it.
even talks about he waits for his kids to go to school to jerk off, and he's eating wings and ice cream, and he wakes up with 3 different types of shame glaze on himself, and you're like, oh, yikes.
But also, same. I've been there, Should we wait for the children to be out of the house before we do that?
Yeah.
I don't see.
Yeah, no, he was a responsible parent. We know he.
I think OJ, I got a lot out of that story.
Mhm.
I mean, OJ and his friends were helping a bunch of hippie chicks moving into the city.
Yeah, you heard
So he
that
could,
part.
they say he was a little aggressive, but
Yeah, he
you
got in a
know,
little trouble.
all I'm thinking about, man, OJ's like us. We're out there helping a bunch of hippie chicks.
Well, it's
move
also
in,
a time in American
you know?
history where the most women just went missing.
I
I think that was
know,
the
I wonder-
golden age of serial
Because
killers.
I was in
right?
San Francisco at a great time. The Zodiac Killer was free.
I don't think OJ did it. I think
the Manson family was running across the city. Jim Jones still had a ministry in the Fillmore.
Would you like some
Yeah,
Kool-Aid, by the
Jim
way? This
Jones.
was great.
It's
It
the
was a
golden
great
age.
golden age of San Francisco.
I think most cults come out of the Bay Area, don't they? A lot of
A
these
lot of
cults.
different ones that have come to prominence, right? There's the Symbionese Liberation Army.
Yeah.
Okay, but did they come out of here? I guess they did. Well, I know they had
Berkeley.
Patty
They came out
Hearst.
of Berkeley.
Berkeley. There you go.
Berkeley.
Close
But
enough.
Patty Hearst, she was arrested and detained in San Francisco after she was liberated.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they say, okay, so she was in the Haight, right? But then also I heard she was being held at what used to be called Julie's Supper Club across from the brainwash.
Oh yeah.
She was being held there for a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the name Brainwash was connected to the Patty Hearst.
That's why.
Somebody told me that the name Brainwash came from the whole Patty Hearst connection.
It did,
Yeah.
and it was because she literally was held in that Julie Supper Club, which, what's his name? Justin Scales was a waiter at for a minute.
Oh yeah, where's Justin Scales?
I want to say he's out of the country.
I hope so.
I hope so. I think he's in somewhere like Russia or something crazy.
Why? Russia.
Putin? Why?
Really?
No, I don't think it's Russia, but it's somewhere crazy. It's somewhere. It's not like he's in Wisconsin.
Was he
Uh,
just working abroad? He's just an expatriate or what?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually was gonna have a conversation with him. But
That-
you know who? You know Justin?
No.
How long have you been doing comedy?
It'll be 2 years this
Okay,
November.
it's okay. It's don't worry.
No, it's
I
trying to do
know.
the math. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right. But I was just saying, yeah, you wouldn't. He's been gone from the city for a long time.
He said jump on the table. Like I was like, that's just that's just prop comedy. When you start jumping the tables during a comedy show, that's
Yeah.
prop comedy.
I
Beyond
remember.
physical
I
comedy.
remember Tony would like make sure he would get his set whenever he came over, and he was waiting tables at the restaurant that was below Julie's Supper Club,
Yeah.
whatever the name of Rocco's or whatever the name
Yeah,
of that place
yeah.
was. And he was waiting on tables there, and Tony would let him up. And one time he literally ran over with like a trench coat on, and then he took it off, and he was wearing a diaper, and did a set in like an adult diaper, like it depends, and then put his trench coat on, went back over to the restaurant, went to the bathroom, and changed back into his waiter clothes.
Damn.
But I live in a senior
I
community.
imagine you do all that and then you bomb.
Yeah, but he was like one of those people that even if they did bomb, you wouldn't know it because they were he was so unorthodox, and he didn't tell like set up punch jokes. Maybe he did, but he was actually really loud, really boisterous, had zero filter,
Yeah.
would say anything. Like even this Trump thing, he would probably be going off on this Trump thing.
No.
He wouldn't care about the rhetoric or whatever. He would just be loud. And so, yeah, no, he is very different when he performs than a lot of people. A lot of people you can just ignore and go back to writing your notes if you're a comic.
No, absolutely. We love to do that during shows. Yeah.
Right. And then every once in a while, clap or laugh. Ha ha ha.
I don't think OJ
Reflexively.
did it. I think it was
There
my
you go. Perfect. You
I
did
think
that
it
one.
was my ex-wife. She was Japanese. She had a bunch of samurai swords. She actually lived in Brentwood at the time of the murders, and Ron Goldman was her type. So
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
American Japanese.
I'm
people
quite
don't
sure
really
she was
solve
banging
problems like
Ron
that.
Goldman. Then she caught Ron Goldman and Nicole, and she like freaked out or something. But yeah, my ex-wife was actually living in Brentwood. What makes you wonder how the fuck I am married somebody?
Was she American Japanese or was
She was
recent immigrant?
Japanese. She was Japanese.
But like she a recent immigrant from Japan? Was she?
Oh yeah, a couple
Because
years
Los
ago.
Angeles has a Japanese community.
No, I met her at Santa Monica College. but,
Okay.
yeah. There were a lot of Japanese in Santa Monica College.
Yeah, like a lot of Japanese American people, like multi-generational
Yeah.
Japanese people.
I don't think she was an American. She was really Japanese.
And they normally have access to resources, so they could file a legal case against you if they have a problem with
I
you.
don't know.
If you're looking for a lawyer.
Yeah. I'm just
I don't
saying.
know. But nobody says that Ron Goldman and I look alike, though. That's the part of the joke people don't. They're supposed to say, you and Ron Goldman look alike. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Ron Goldman wouldn't know.
Somebody ever threatens me, I'm gonna go. Don't make me call my lawyer.
Don't make me.
Don't make me call Sweet James.
And Larry H. Parker, Sweet James. Sweet James is
Sweet
hilarious.
James will sue the hell out of you.
Yeah, or Ann Fung. Who's Ann Fung?
Yeah, that's the next one I was
Something
going
wrong.
with.
Ann Fung.
I call Anne Fung.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to
If
do.
you've been done wrong,
Yeah.
Call
call
Ann
it fun.
Yeah, she's like very strong on the social media game.
Yeah.
It's like the media all over, just like total
Yeah,
media dominant.
she doesn't even put her face on a bench. No, sir.
Nah.
Oh, no,
That's beneath her.
it's literally the benches
Beneath
are all
her.
beneath her.
I heard
She's
she's
above.
got billboards in LA too and stuff all over the place.
Well, I don't know if meant for LA, but just like her saturation of the Bay Area. Is
She's even doing like what
Just-
is it like the medical stuff, like when you've been like, you know,
Personal injury stuff.
Yeah.
if they cut your dong, call Ann Fong.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But she's, you know, she's all on the platforms. You know, she'll make skits with her staff and stuff. She's on the TikToks and Instagram.
Are you?
Like,
Is she?
Yeah, she continues
Yeah.
to be dominant.
They
Oh, that's
invited.
funny. I wanna
They
see
invited
this.
her to a party at the Stud. You know, the Stud.
Oh, the poor stud. It's sealed, right? It's
No, they reopened. They opened
Did
it. I used to
When did
do
they
open
open it?
mic at the Stud. I think a couple of months ago
Hell yeah.
they
Let me get
opened
back
it up
over there.
again. They
I
opened.
love the stud. So the
Yeah.
first time I was there, I went on stage and there's this piece of art, and I'm like, "What is this piece of art?" It's multicolored, and I'm like touching it and looking at it. Do you know what it was? So they had like everybody would take out their bubble gum.
I knew. I
And
knew
it
it was
was
something.
sticking, and it was
dirty.
kind of phallic looking, and it was just a big pile of whatever on the stage, and it was like, oh, that's blue, green, purple, whatever,
Yeah.
and it's just people taking their gum out, sticking it
Yeah.
on a. I don't know if it started off as something
They
like
had a
it
bunch.
was like it was a dildo or something. I don't know,
They had a
Okay,
bunch of
I
pictures.
changed
of
my
the
mind.
Stud.
Steal that place back.
but that was weird
Yeah, well, yeah.
because I'm like, oh, what's the? Oh, and I realized what
Yeah.
it is, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I'm
no.
touching it. I touched it.
I touched it.
The Stud is way different now. I think it's more
Classier.
classier. There's more
Well,
money.
you know, there's just,
No
yeah,
more gum.
money.
Baseball or bubblegum statues.
It's
These
more
times,
money.
you know, if you're gonna be, there's a different type of weird they permit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different type of weird.
It's like the weed events these days. Back then, that would be fun, but now the weed events are filled with a bunch.
They're
there's-
techie events.
There's like rich people involved in. So every time you're like at a weed event, you realize who the owner is because they're like the rich people.
And they're the
man.
guys with the suits.
Yeah, the
and,
suits.
And you're like, oh, that's why this vibe isn't exactly
I
organic.
know. Yeah.
I feel like it's being
It's
like
true.
this is a sesh by the narcs.
Yeah.
right.
It's almost like
People are
you're a
microdosing
techie.
in
Yeah.
board meetings. You know.
No.
Damn.
It's not the
English
same. They got
streets.
money. There's a lot of money involved in these things. But yeah, I mean, they used to have pictures in the Stud of different people, and there was a picture of somebody who looked like me in drag.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is O.J. Simpson.
I did it again.
I
to you
used to
guys.
tell people that was me as a joke. I'm like, that's my picture,
I was trying
and
to cue
people
up something else.
believed it.
Ugh.
They believed it.
All right. So, what was your next choice on video?
Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg. Hell yeah, Mark
Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
All right. Sorry, I was trying to queue up another one and realized you guys were in real time. So let's see here. I want to make sure that I
Oh,
have
this is Mark.
volume right from the beginning.
This is Marky Mark. This is
Yeah,
not
but
Mark.
you don't want to. Now you're taking away my fun. All right, so here we go.
What's this guy saying?
All right, here we go.
What's up? This is me, Marky Mark. My music is me, yeah. If you listen to my whole album and didn't see my face, you would say, wow, this kid, you know, he's probably from a rundown neighborhood and, you know, had hard times and, you know, he's just being truthful. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the street, you know what I mean? I know what it's like to be in trouble, you know what I mean? I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to have money, but it's easier for me as opposed to like the new kids, you know what I mean? Because I'm not basically focused on the girls and the love songs and stuff. And my music, basically, it fits a lot of the people that I grew up around, you know? Like, kind of like tough neighborhoods. I have an album coming out, and I worked hard for it, though, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people will think, oh, his brother's rich and this and that. Everything's been handed to him. You know, you have two choices in life, to succeed or to fail, you know what I'm saying? And I've been the negative road and I've been the positive road, and I would never give up the positive road. Never. I would never. Even if, you know what I'm saying, if I was the biggest flop in the world. It's time I kick a little verse. See, some do hip-hop and forget where it started. The claiming a white complexion ain't the reason why their records charted, please. I mean, it's so easy to see. When a white dude raps, the public sees it as a novelty. Even me, although I take it seriously, some just like me because of my RACE, but I won't quit and I won't stop, because I do hip-hop records just because I love hip-hop. See you later.
See you later. See you later,
I
champ.
mean, he'd already committed at least 2 different hate crimes by this point. But like, I'm pretty
What,
sure
wearing
he
the
did
Sonics jersey in San Francisco
yeah.
was one of
Oh
them.
yeah.
That was the third one. I didn't mean to. I was giving him a pass on that. It was a
Okay.
different time.
But that
you know?
maybe it was Gary Payne, and you know he's from Oakland, so
So what did you guys think of that?
Well, I just didn't realize this. I remember he committed like 2 hate crimes in New York, right? So it was a surprise to hear that he has like an actual connection to the city.
And I think it was just an MTV type video.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
he
'cause
spent time in jail, didn't he?
Oh yeah, for committing the 2nd hate crime.
Yeah.
I think he still technically is a felon in the state of New York. So he tried to ask the
Yeah.
governor to give him a pardon a couple years ago and just got lit up on the internet.
Oh, yeah?
Like he blinded a Vietnamese man. Like,
So what did he do?
well, first as a kid, he would like throw rocks at black children on the bus.
Oh,
the
wait,
second
hold
one-
on! I didn't know
And the
this.
second one was him and his friends attacked a Vietnamese elderly man and blinded him in one eye.
What?
Well, actually, I think he was already going blind in one eye and then getting kicked and stabbed upside the head.
Definitely
Didn't help.
just shut it off.
Didn't help. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he did time for the second one.
Really?
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
was a minor at the time. So
Well, that's so not funny, but funny. That's
it's
peculiar.
I know it's hilarious.
I didn't realize it's hilarious. No, I
It
didn't
is
say it was hilarious, but it was weird. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
supposed to be in the New Kids in the Block, but he was in jail when the band was starting. So, actually, I did extra work on the movie Superstar, where he was in a band. I was in LA for a week.
Yeah, I remember you talking
Yeah,
about that.
is it super? I think that's
I
Superstar
hear.
was the
I
porn
hear if
film,
you
right?
call him Marky Mark, he loses it.
Of
yeah.
course,
No, it's a movie about
he's a porn star, right?
No, he's in a.
Superstar? Oh,
No,
yeah,
no,
different
no. That's
Mark Wahlberg.
no.
Different Mark Wahlberg film.
Well,
Where he's
no,
like,
he was.
I've got the big dick.
That's
I'm the one in charge. Yeah,
That's another one. I don't
can't
even
remember
think
what
that
film
dick
that
was
is.
real though. I don't
That's
think-
funny.
But no, Superstar. He's in a cover band, and the real band, loses their singer, so he takes over. And I spent a week at USC at the arena filming it. It was pretty fun, but that movie just bombed and shit. But I have good memories, but I didn't realize he blinded anybody.
Yeah.
That's,
what-
yeah. But he is Vietnamese, so I guess back then it was okay. And so
What did
might
you
not
guys
be
do?
okay now.
What did you guys do for your 4th of July? Anything?
I was in Kansas City. You was,
You were in
over
Kansas?
Missouri. Yeah, I was in Kansas City,
Eating
Missouri,
ribs.
and Topeka. I didn't get to eat ribs until the end of my trip, but yes, I
Damn.
did get around to that.
Good. Okay. good.
Yes, I was
Jeremy.
visiting family over in the area.
I was at a party and somebody blew their dick off.
Hell yeah.
And it turns out that it was okay because they wanted a sex change,
Oh.
But the sad
So
thing,
that-
It was a gender reveal, and it was revealed they had no gender.
It was a
the
real
sad thing
gender
was
reveal.
that they missed their balls. They didn't blow off their balls.
Oh.
The guy put a firecracker in his foreskin, but I'm like, why not put 4 firecrackers in your
Yeah,
skin?
why not like just be sure? You
Why not
know,
just-
really be certain.
Yeah, that's my
I want it to
story.
look like a dragon fruit plant when it
I-
blooms.
Exactly.
No, but I was at a sesh for
You really
the
can't
4th of July.
half-ass blowing off your balls.
I
Your
was
dick and
high.
balls.
No, I know it's crazy, isn't it? But
So we actually have footage from that party. that he was at. Hold on a second.
Let me see
Here it
that.
is.
Let me see that.
Okay, so hold on.
Let me
Oh, we got the footage here. Hold on.
Are you?
No, I'm not
Wait.
kidding. This is him.
You cannot stick it in the ground. It's not gonna work.
Who did that?
You gotta put it in the shoe.
So that was the 4 and 5 skin.
I know.
Hell yeah.
Somehow his balls didn't get blown off.
See, that's what I love about the Bay Area. Obviously, we're being satirical here, but that's just what I like about like Bay Area 4th of July. We go from like gay pride to like the second invasion of Iraq.
Yeah.
Just within a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The weird thing is July 1st is Canada Day, so.
But we don't. Why does that concern us?
No, one time my mom and my aunt, they went all the way up to Vancouver,
Oh,
celebrated July 1st, came down into.
so Canada Day, like, is that their Independence Day, or is that
Yeah.
they're celebrating when they burned down the White House?
I don't think it's independence because Canada's never really been
Yeah, they're
independent.
slowly, sort of grandfathered into
Yeah.
sovereignty.
I think they've always been part of the British
Yeah, they're really close with
Empire.
the Queen, the King.
Yeah,
not
they.
king again.
I think they still got the royal money.
I think they're still part of the Commonwealth.
I don't know if the Queen Elizabeth is still on the money though.
I think. Well,
Is
they're
it
making some new
is it
money.
King Charles? I mean,
Have they
I'm-
minted new money for King Charles yet?
yeah, the King Charles money and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, all these holidays. What's the next holiday coming up? I was thinking about it.
Is it Labor Day or Memorial Day?
Oh yeah, Memorial. I think Memorial Day.
Labor Day, I think, is coming up.
No, I think
Labor Day's in September.
September.
Okay,
Oh, it's Labor Day.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, there's a couple different religious holidays I don't understand. I think Ashura's coming up next week or something. I don't know anything about.
My mom tried to
Hindu
tell me
holiday.
that Labor Day is another
Apparently,
day
you
for
know how to
Mother's
pronounce
Day.
it.
Hell yeah.
She's like, Labor Day is another day for Mother's Day. You need to buy me a present.
Well, Labor Day is just like, Lib's version of May Day. It's like
Yeah.
they're trying to make a corporate version of May Day. They have Labor Day.
Yeah, because May Day is like May 1st. It's like
Yeah, May 1st.
most of the world celebrates like Workers' Day on May 1st.
Yeah, well, it's Labor Day. Well, May Day started in the United States, which is so funny because it was
Oh,
a
yeah, did it
holiday
really?
that was started in the United States, but it's celebrated more widely around the world.
Yeah, it's almost
We
like a
just
social
apparently didn't
workers.
pay my PG&E bill.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, did your bill go down? Or?
That's how we do this shit.
PG&E used to be next door where they used to have that big ass building on 8th Street, right? Now they moved out. They're not in the area anymore and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, so how's your comedy career blowing up?
Blowing up. I'm just trying not to blow it, We work hard. You treat it like our regular 9 to 5s, this comedy thing. But I think things are going well, This Wednesday, I've got a show coming up. I'll be at Rooster Tea Feathers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and then for Saturday night, I'm going to be doing a show at the Tap Club over in Crockett.
Have you done Rooster Tea Feathers before? Or?
I mean, I think I've done one of their comedy competitions and did not do well,
Yeah.
but did well enough that they're willing to book me on the showcase on Wednesday.
Rooster
So-
Tea Feathers is the building itself is where the first video game Pong was.
Really?
The first Pong. Yeah, the first Pong video game was in that building at a bar.
Hell yeah!
I
It's
don't
a historic facility. They've it's been around for a
Yeah.
long time. They boast about it and on their menus and place settings.
I used to cruise the El Camino in high school before they made cruising.
When they used to call it the Strip.
Yeah, back then cruising was different. You tell people you go cruising these days, you're looking for dudes.
Yeah.
But
You
no,
can't
it was
use that language.
a different type of cruising.
We were getting in the car.
We were in car.
It was before the oil embargo.
Yeah, there was-
back when gas was real cheap.
before the internet. You wanted to meet people.
You had to go out
A bunch of
and find them.
yeah, we would listen to Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby over and over, and we would be cruising. But they actually made
So
cruising
how far
illegal.
would you cruise from where to where?
We would go through the El Camino.
Right, but I mean, like, so with us, I lived in Redwood City. We would go from Redwood City to San Mateo and turn around and do it again.
I think we went the opposite way through Sunnyvale into San Jose.
Yeah, because even when I lived in Sunnyvale, we would go from like Sunnyvale up to like Mountain View-ish
Yeah.
and then back.
Yeah, the El Camino was like the red light district back in those days. It might still be. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
because what was it? The one in so when we used to cruise, there used to be like I used to work at a Denny's that was on El Camino at Lawrence Expressway, and there was a Taco Bell across the street. Both parking lots would be packed full of people in their cars
Oh,
and
yeah.
girls, and
Yeah.
everybody honking and smoking outside their cars and waving
Yeah.
at people. And that was the way to.
That was how you did it.
That's
back.
how you did it.
And somehow they made it all illegal. How the fuck you tell 1 million people they can't like fucking get in their cars and go cruising?
Well, we wonder why our society's all fucked up and people are shooting each other and our country's so divided.
Yeah.
Because now
In Redwood City alone, so they take away fun stuff like that, but what do they give it to replace? Nothing, right? So they give you a device in your hand so you get sucked into that. I remember they took out, we had a Malibu Grand Prix and a Castle Golf and Games in our
Yeah.
town. They knocked it down and took it out because they were going to build a jail there.
Hell yeah.
And I figure if you got to steal a kid's, current life, you might as well give them somewhere to stay when they get older.
Go to
Yeah.
jail, yeah.
And so they actually did that, and they didn't even build on the property. They ended up building adjacent to it, so now that looks like a ghost town. There's an old Malibu and castle,
Oh yeah.
and it's like, really? Don't you think the kids of this area? Well, they can just play video games on there, sure. But what about miniature golf and the batting cages and the little bumper boats? Well, they can do that on their phones too. No, they can't.
No.
Well, it's like this goes back to how like development or real estate development as an industry is just like you get so much of the money people make is just on like the transaction, right?
Right.
So like so many of these developers and they're developing areas, it's not actually so important to them whether these things become viable community hubs. They buy the land, they sit on it, and then they basically just do enough work to move it on and flip it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So they don't really care if it becomes like a viable multi-use project that, creates opportunities and resources for young people. They're just, they move on to the next thing.
They want the money. It's
They
all about
want
the
the
money.
money. They keep moving
Wasn't Marine World near Redwood City? Or
Yeah,
was it?
so the Marine World was in Redwood City, and it's actually off 101. There's a parkway. It says Marine Parkway, and it used to be Marine World Parkway.
Yeah.
And so it was there for years, and they moved it. Why? Rich people's housing development.
Yeah.
And so it was built on kind of like landfill, like Marine World was. That's all landfill out there. It's Foster City, Redwood Shores, a lot of the stuff along the peninsula east of 101 is old marshland they've filled in, or which is even worse.
Yeah.
They've taken away marshland from all the fucking
Yeah.
the ecosystem has broken down in the bay because of
Absolutely.
that. But at least we have silicon chips
At least.
Yeah.
because those go good with dip.
And
I
$18
know.
beers.
And $18 beers and people in suits at sessions. I wanted to do a callback. Sorry.
No,
So, but I mean, that's
It's
the bullshit,
true.
right?
It's
I wanted
true.
to go full circle. Huey Lewis in the news.
You're listening to news.
All right, here we go.
He has a musical out now, doesn't he?
Let's see if it goes. It's not working with me today. Here we go.
Yeah, I just remember, what was it? American Psycho, where Patrick Bateman cites Huey Lewis in the news before he, murders that dude from 30 Seconds to Mars. What's that actor's name?
I don't even remember that.
The actor who played.
Who played the sort of the love-hate interest of Patrick Bateman in American
man.
American Psycho.
I thought you were talking about the
band
Batman
was
guy.
Yeah, exactly. He was the Batman guy.
What's his
Jared
name?
Kristen
Leto.
Bell?
Jared
Oh.
Leto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times.
Good
American Psycho.
Good times. But yeah, it was to the soundtrack of Huey Lewis. And the
Wait,
News.
is American Psycho? No, that's the other one. The one. What's his name? Ed Norton's in.
No, Edward Norton is not in American Psycho.
No.
It's
American History X.
There
the other
you
guy
go.
who played.
I knew it
that-
was something like
the
that.
guy who's,
I was talking about. I want to see the OJ movie, The Klansman. Huh?
I know. Now I want to go see what the Klansman's about, right?
Yeah.
Because he says he's killing people in it.
Well, you know,
killing
OJ.
Klansmen in that one.
OJ
Yeah.
was in that one movie. What was it called? with that miniseries.
The Color Purple.
not
Oh,
the-
Roots.
Roots. He was in Roots. OJ was in Roots.
Yeah.
He was in Roots.
He was one of the slaves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was one of the slaves.
I'm trying to remember.
He didn't play a slave master though. I know he was.
He
one
would
of
have
them.
liked to, but they didn't let him.
No, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I don't remember him in Roots, but yeah, I guess
I don't
He
know.
would've
I don't think I ever saw. I haven't seen Roots in years.
I haven't seen Roots in years, but I remember watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was an intense series. That I don't know why they don't show that anymore.
I think you can probably down.
Yeah, you could probably stream it somewhere, but shouldn't that kind of be in the forefront? Well, from what I
Well,
remember,
no, you can't show that now
why?
because it's racist.
Well,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
it's more with like the
It was written by Alex Haley.
Alex Haley. Well, I think his original, I think his original historical accounts may have like received some kind of criticisms from some. different
Oh,
sources.
later
Yeah,
on.
I think
that
he
was one
makes
thing.
up some stuff. Even Malcolm X
Oh, you
said
mean
that.
he took some creative license?
Yeah, even
Yeah,
Malcolm
but I
X
think
said
it's a
he
little
made
more
up
than
some
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Malcolm X didn't live long enough to make those claims. I don't think
No, I think
Yes,
Malcolm X said that the book he wrote about him was
a little off. Well, he had two different versions, my understanding, right? Like the original thing that he worked on with him, and then like the later
Oh,
widely
yeah.
published.
Yeah, he said some of the stuff that was put in there was exaggerated.
Well, not just exaggerate, but he changed certain details.
Do you mind if I throw that out there? Do you remember what the thing with Alex Haley was?
Well, I think there was some question whether or not he was actually, if Alex Haley was actually talking about his own family.
Oh,
family
okay.
history, point blank. And then,
So
Yeah.
it could have been a composite. If you ever
no,
see,
no, I'm not saying that this is like an
Right.
appropriate way to cancel the show, but I think ultimately there's also been some efforts to revive the series. I
Right.
think they did redo the series, actually.
They did
A
do
few
another
a couple
version.
years ago.
Yeah, they did do
It
another
wasn't able
version.
to. Wasn't quite. I think as culturally significant.
I
think
know.
No one remembers what the hell that recent version
I don't
was.
think OJ
Okay.
was in the second one. Though.
see,
That-
maybe it was powerful to me because I was white.
well,
Yeah,
no, OJ
well,
wasn't
And I'm
in
just
it,
being
though.
honest.
No. That's solid. That's a solid reason for something to be impactful. You know.
But I
they're a
think
target
it was
demographic.
probably a good thing for me.
Yeah, people should learn about slavery, especially if they're not going to learn about it
Especially
otherwise.
when you're under 10 years old. You should
Yeah.
probably know that shit was happening.
Yeah.
I like to watch that
You
show,
know?
Finding Your Roots, and every time
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like a white celebrity, like
They're always like,
You know
please
you
don't be
got-
slaves. Please don't be slaves. I think
You
that
got-
happened to Larry
you got-
David.
you
I think
got-
Larry David was like on. So we found something. He's like, no, please don't be slaves, and it ultimately is.
Oh, yeah, the slave owners. So I've seen, who's the guy that does the ancestry, like, look back? I forget that guy. So I've seen him do a few of them where, yeah, like Larry David's like, oh, don't turn the page. Don't.
No,
I know. You're going to say, oh, yep, slave master. He like knew it, like right when they invited him, and he was like, "Oh, I can't even say no because if I say no,
They know for a fact that I look even more guilty.
yeah." So now you just gotta own up to it.
Just gotta.
yeah, you
It's
come.
not much to own up to it. You just kind of sit through the interview as he kind of explains to you what the research team found out.
I've seen a couple of them, like really like famous people, like you know,
really break down, like
your
they
gra-
finding out new
your
stuff.
great grandfather owned 50 people. How you feel about that? I feel
Well,
really
also,
bad.
people were like they were black people, and they helped, get across, the railroad
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Black
So
people
they-
owned slaves too.
There's
Black,
also one where Fred Armisen finds
Yeah.
out that his grandpa wasn't Japanese but Korean.
oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found that his grandparent had been like lying about being
Yeah.
Japanese in order to like emigrate, but he'd actually thought he was Japanese his whole life, but turned out he was actually Korean.
there was
Well, that's kind of wild because I found out like 4 years ago that I had no idea I was Scottish at all, and I'm
Okay.
like half Scottish,
Oh wow,
and it's like okay.
you got a flag. They have a flag. You know, they have
there
a
was,
flag over there.
there was one
Blue and
singer.
white.
Her parents didn't
You
tell
can hang
her
that up now.
that,
Okay.
that she was born. Somebody donated the sperm, like that she had no idea that her dad wasn't her dad. Like they
Oh yeah,
and
sperm donor.
they told her before the show. They're like, hey, by the way, like there's no DNA. Or there was another woman who I think I forgot there was an actress who her last name wasn't really her great grandfather. It was, I don't know. That's always weird because back in the day, nobody. It was a small town, so
You know,
Yeah, a
People
small
did all
country.
kinds
A
of
lot of
shit,
there's
yeah.
like the 6 degrees between you and whatever.
To the people. In France, like DNA testing is outlawed. It's totally illegal.
Oh, is it really in
Where?
France?
Yeah, France.
Really?
Yeah, it's because they have such a high rate of infidelity. That
Oh,
they
yeah.
decide, let's say, they decide legally they'd just be too legally, economically, and
Yeah.
culturally impactful to just allow that to be free technology.
Yeah,
It'll be too disruptive.
that,
So-
that
this
is
is hilarious.
crazy.
Really?
Yeah,
They should put me on that
because of
show.
just the real number of people who do DNA testing and find out that their father's not their father, like, stuff like that.
Because you
But
know,
these people were able to do it anyway.
Oh yeah, they can do it informally, but they don't like the
They don't
state,
offer it
the
up
state
and they
doesn't allow large tech companies to help them. They gotta do that digging themselves. Because
Wow.
you think about it, like, okay, so I did 23andMe a little while ago, and so when you do it, it literally gives you notifications as soon as a
Yes.
new relative gets in the system.
Yes.
So you can imagine, like, like the effect that happens if people start doing that, and your whole society, like, that thousands of notifications every day
yeah.
from down the street and across town.
Oh yeah, next door.
How many people would just be putting each other on child support?
Well, you know, the weird thing is, Latino is not even considered a race in the science. Latinos are considered part of the white race.
Oh,
When you-
Hispanics are.
Yeah, when you're
Right.
doing your DNA testing, there's no Latino race. They got black, white, they got Asian.
Well, they break
Oh,
it
they
down
don't
by.
have Hispanic descent.
Well, no, they break it down by countries of.
Oh,
countries
like
of origin.
Spain or Portuguese.
Yeah.
Or like you're talking about what we were talking about, like you're talking about Northern European,
Portugal.
Southern European, Eastern
Yeah.
European,
Right.
different types of Asian, Indigenous people, African American people.
Big old chunks of continents, not
Yeah. So
necessarily.
it basically means that the white Hispanic people have to claim Europe. It's
Yeah, my nephew did it, and he's like, it says here we're not even Italian. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's what you're just.
I
what?
hate to tell you that, but my brother and I have different father. I was just kidding with him, but I'm like, maybe you don't want to be doing it because we're foreigners. You never know what you find.
So what? They're just just regular Lisbon Spanish people.
I don't know. I mean, my last name is Italian, but we're Chileans. I'm third generation Chilean. and
People
so-
change their names for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
my family, when they came from France, changed it to something that Americans could pronounce and spell better. Because they're like, our family name was Marquis. M-A-R.
Marquis.
Yeah,
The
Marquis.
Q-U-I-S,
Marquis.
silent S.
Yeah, so they ended up changing it to M-A-R-K-E-Y.
Mark.
Marquis.
Marquis. Okay.
What about Brahma? Where the hell did Brahma
No,
come?
that's my mom's.
Is that German
Very
or
dang,
something?
yes.
Or Brahma?
Yeah. I'm not German. Apparently my father wasn't German. That was my brother's dad.
Oh, okay.
My dad's last name was Davis, which is not really Scottish.
Davis.
Hey, well,
Pretty
maybe
generic.
changed it to make it something they could pronounce.
Yeah.
In Latin
exactly.
America, we have both last names. Like in my passport, I got both of my last names on there because when I became a citizen, when I was born Cristiano Alejandro Schiabacasa Valenzuela, but I Americanized it to Chris. But when I became a U.S. citizen, somehow I decided
They didn't want you to hold you back in Hollywood.
I wanted my 4 names on my passport.
That's lit. Yeah.
So I got my full 4 names on there.
Well, now 4 names are big in the business.
But
You
it's-
might consider reverting.
It's weird because my ID says Chris and my passport says Christian, and I never show them at the same time. But I always wonder if that's ever going to become a problem. Not because there's like that new ID. I haven't got the new ID yet. The new national ID. I gotta bring in my passport, but now I got this different name, and then I got this name, and it's like,
What do you do?
If you guys had, if you could step through that door and there was a time machine, what year and place would you like to be? And it could even be right where we are today.
That's always a really fun question. So, like, do you go forward or do you go back? I guess I'm more interested a little bit in the future because I feel like if we think of things in the past, like, yeah, we can romanticize the past, but also, like, certain things also get really shitty. Like, we like to romanticize with the cost of living, but also, like,
we don't want to make America racist again.
Yeah, that's obnoxious, you know? Like, it'd be great to see, like, the political upheavals in the 60s and 70s, but I really like going into integrated theaters, you know?
Okay,
Like,
so
I
you want to go
really
forward.
like
You want to
that.
go into the future. How far
Yeah.
would you
I'd be interested, like, just 100 years to start
go? Just
off.
100. Oh,
Just
okay.
100.
Just put your big toe in the end of the
Just,
the
you know,
American
one
gene pool
century,
and see where
one
we're at.
century. Not something, I don't want to be, like, just totally, like, cyberpunk, not be able to recognize anything, you know?
But you want to
Carnival
have some
Dread stuff.
resemblance of home.
Some a little bit, just to see what's going on. You know, I'm kind of curious as some certain things in our society now, how they pan out a couple generations later. You know, the
what
effect
would
of
you think
technology.
would be a couple things that would last that 100 years?
Outside of like, you know, like different natural sites that were culturally significant enough to be maintained. There'd be some major architecture, I think, we would probably still choose to keep around.
Like things like in Dubai, or is all that stuff gone?
Oh,
It's
that
crazy
stuff is
building.
mostly gone, mostly because that money won't last, right? But
Right.
you think of like your major landmarks, we think of the United States, like a lot of those ones will probably stick around because they're culturally significant, right? We're not gonna like sell the Statue of Liberty like on like a whim 20 or 40 years from
And
now.
we're still gonna have the London Bridge in the middle of the Arizona desert.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
That's still gonna be a thing. But
I would go back in time and kick it with OJ. I hate Ashbury with all the hippie chicks.
yeah,
Would you?
Trying to get laid with OJ. Like, I wonder if OJ
probably
would
get
be-
caught up with OJ then, you know? You
OJ,
change-
I'd be kicking it with OJ and Charles Manson. Dude. Like,
Do you think Charles Manson could seduce you into his cult if you like showed him at the right time? Do you
no.
think if he let you sleep with enough white women, you would get it seduced? Because
I
that's
don't
his big thing. His thing was just like,
I
you
think
know,
you have
taking
to be
regular
rich.
people. No. You just had to like be malleable because he would like they were mostly runaways, you know, malleable runaways.
But they were like rich runaways. They
Some
weren't.
of them were like there was a couple people that were rich that they milked for money, but a lot of them were runaways with nowhere to go, and he would use like LSD and sex to control people.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
It reminds me when I was a kid. I remember being in school when they shot Reagan. When they shot Reagan.
I was listening. I was at my friend's house listening to
Uh,
an REO Speedwagon album when the news broke.
Yeah,
I think I was in third grade or fourth grade. I
that
don't
was
know.
a twinkle in my face.
Yeah, and I remember I was really upset and decided not to do my homework. Like, oh, I want to do my homework, man.
Because of Ronald Reagan being shot?
Because Ronald Reagan.
What a fucking nerd! Like,
I can imagine some person's like, I want to go back in time to Saturday and make sure that guy shoots Trump in the head.
So
know?
you would go in the future. You would go back.
I
The
would go.
Summer of Love.
I would go kick it with OJ at the Summer of Love.
All right. Well, let's see if we can make part of this happen for you. Okay. Here's the Summer of Love for Chris here in San Francisco.
Lit.
I like living here because I get to do exactly what I want when I want. Like, if I want to run down the street doing cartwheels, I do that. If I want to climb a tree, I do that.
You have all these young kids coming from a very rich, affluent, middle-class society where they've been taken care of since they've been babies and never really had to do anything for themselves in a serious way. And now they come here and they want to be taken care of.
One of the first questions that they'll ask is, what do you do? And so I say, I live. And they say, no, I mean, do you work or what? And I say, no, I just live.
A lot of people say to me, what are you doing? You're not doing any work. You're not working at a job.
You tell them that you don't do anything and that you come to the park. It's like they can't believe you.
We're doing the hardest work in the world because we're growing. We're trying to change.
We have a group of young people from upper middle class families who have moved into a physical environment that is in effect a reversion. They're living in gross insanitary conditions with a great deal of overcrowding. There is a very high incidence of infectious hepatitis. About 1/4 or 1/5 of our total caseload in the venereal disease clinics appear to be hippies. Now I'm going on the appearance solely. And we have one case history in which a young chap has been into the clinic 12 times in 3 months with 12 different cases of gonorrhea.
He kind of outed that guy right there, right?
Yeah, it's him.
It must have been him, right?
That's
It wasn't
him.
I'm not having
I mean,
sex
he
with
definitely
that
looks
guy.
like the type of dude at that time.
not
That
having
guy's
sex
still
with that
getting
guy.
12 different cases of gonorrhea
They
today.
gaslit that. That's the originating gaslit someone.
Yeah.
Well,
Holy
I'm not sleeping
smokes.
with that guy.
I'm not sleeping with that guy.
I'm not sleeping with that. 12 cases of gonorrhea. Is gonorrhea even?
I
funny
guess
thing,
gonorrhea was rampant in San Francisco
Yeah,
in the,
at that
during
time.
I mean, when you got people fucking like crazy and stuff.
And when the condoms
Yeah.
like this thick, you know.
yeah.
People weren't even using condoms back
Yeah,
then.
because they were
Made
this
out of
thick.
birch.
Yeah, they're this
Maybe
thick.
they would wash the condom and overuse it.
Just keep going. Keep going.
Here, do you want to borrow mine?
I just had it rolled up after I hung it out to dry.
No, just
Oh,
flip
yeah.
it inside out, man. That's just gross.
Oh yeah.
Gross.
Was that in Dolores Park? That looked like
Part
Dolores.
of it looked like it was Dolores Park, and the other part looked like it was Hippie Hill.
Yeah.
How long? How long has Dolores Park been like?
Dolores Park forever.
Yeah.
I think Dolores Park has been Dolores Park since before this was San Francisco.
I
Yeah.
have
What
a
was the name of San Francisco before it was San Francisco?
Yerba Bueno, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yerba
Yeah,
Bueno.
right.
Yep.
That
And the
kind of-
Mission Dolores was just the building.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
then
San Francisco.
also,
Dolores.
what is it? Angel Island and what's the other one? I'm sorry, Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, yeah.
The reason they're named that is because the original person that named him looked at a map and inverted the name. So Alcatraz is supposed to be Angel Island
Mm,
or Treasure Island. I'm sorry,
Mm.
Treasure Island. And Treasure Island's supposed to be Alcatraz,
mm.
but they kept it that way.
Nice.
That is funny.
And then you guys, we noticed the archway in the one. That's what
Yeah.
literally they would bring in all the prisoners down the Embarcadero on a boxcar, put them in the archway, put the entire train car onto a barge, and bring it to Alcatraz,
More
so they
security.
couldn't get out for
Yeah.
the security.
They
So
they
they didn't have to do a prisoner transfer to another.
That
vehicle.
was the prisoner transfer. That's
They-
crazy that they put the entire train car on a barge.
they took my 6th grade class to Alcatraz
Yeah.
to scare us. To
course.
scare us.
I mean, that's really what. Well,
I
it's
feel
scary.
bad.
You know, it's
Scary,
but
scary.
It's also showed this an example of how it was just like too expensive to have the prison
Yeah.
after a while, right?
Yeah.
It's too expensive to have this supermax cartoonish facility. You know, even at the time, it seems like if you read about how people talk about Alcatraz, it was always a parody of itself, being like a super maximum security.
And
prison.
there was a cartoon. There was like a Warner Brothers like Bugs Bunny thing where
Yeah.
like him and Edward G. Robinson are like in Alcatraz
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So
I had a friend that went to high school right next to Dolores Park. There's a high school. There's a high school next to Dolores Park.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mission High.
And I can't imagine me. And what the hell did you do? Oh, I was fucking smoking weed in high school. What do you think I was doing?
Yeah, go immediately off campus to a sick ass park.
I know. I'm like, how you
Other
gonna have a
young
high
people
school?
and adults that are gonna sell you
Yeah.
whatever drug you want.
How you gonna have a high school next to Dolores Park? I think last week is when they did the skateboarding thing.
The hill bomb, yeah.
The hill bomb. Every year somebody like fucks himself up on that hill bomb and shit.
Yeah, I respect the skates, but I cannot, do not have no stomach for a hill bomb. Like
A
that,
hill
you know, that's just
bomb.
so dangerous.
I don't know, that is crazy, but they.
Sure, it's cool, but it's also incredibly dangerous.
I knew they're going. I think they're gonna organize it from now on. They decided that it's safer to like organize.
Well, they
it.
kind of have to because the cops been cracking down on it so hard, and so like there's been like a whole little crust punk anarcho like resistance to that. But at the same time, the reality is like just kind of the number of people getting hurt just really kind of increases. You know,
It's about
Internet
time.
conflict, so they have to.
It's about
They
time
have to
that
get organized.
we start printing those stickers. Skateboarding is not a crime, motherfucker. Skateboarding is not a motherfucking crime.
Nah, skateboarding is not.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been Alcatraz in years. I think about going there.
I was
but-
there for the Sunrise Festival maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was gorgeous. Yeah, for around Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, the Thanksgiving when the Native Americans took it over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because their graffiti's all still there. I mean, that's so funny because because when the American Indian movement, when they occupied the island, it was such like a big thing.
Yeah.
It's like highly illegal. They were in conflict with the state for months. But now, like the Park Service maintains their graffiti,
Yeah.
as a tourist attraction,
Yeah.
right? And like periodically, it'll have to be replaced. So the Park Service, will remove the graffiti and then put it back.
There was a TV show about Alcatraz, maybe 10 years ago. Somebody did a TV show about Alcatraz. The guy who did Lost, he did, but I think it only lasted a year or something.
that would be a great location for a reality show.
Yeah. Well, I think it was featured on the show Loki, right? With the guys doing like Alcatraz escape. It's all over the picture.
Yeah.
There's a little cameo.
scene?
Well, because one of the characters, it's revealed that he was like a prisoner on Alcatraz.
Oh, okay.
So when Loki goes back to find him another timeline, he's like trying to sneak off the island in a boat.
Those people got
Oh,
off.
that's funny. I don't
got
remember. I
off.
don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, it was a very brief little thing.
Gotcha.
I think those people really escaped Alcatraz, and I think the way they did it is that there was just a boat there. They actually got on a boat, you know.
Well, they apparently what they did was they stole a bunch of like workshop resin and glue and adhesive and made pontoons, right? Because some of the raincoats were like a type of, I don't know if they weren't polyester yet, but they're like coated fabric, like it was fabric that's like coated in like a polyester plastic.
Yeah.
And so they had gathered up enough raincoats and they turned them into pontoons, right? And so they found all the pieces they used to make the boats, and I think they ultimately found pieces of it. But it's like still a question if they survived the journey or not. I think it's likely they did, but it's also at the time they did, it's very hard to just totally go off the grid. But they also had no cell phones.
Well, no, I mean back then in the 40s and the 50s,
You could disappear.
I mean, you could disappear.
If you wanted to.
Now,
So many people did. So many
yeah.
great people from history did. You know?
go to another
the Black
country.
Dahlia murderer.
Yeah,
The Zodiac killer.
the Zodiac. Yeah, who knows of the Zodiac killer? But yeah.
B.T. Cooper. You know?
Oh yeah, Pete. Yeah, the guy who jumped out of that airplane.
Yeah, many of greats have disappeared.
Yeah, they don't
into
know.
the wind.
That one is weird, but I guess a lot of people were doing that to airplanes back in those days.
Well, I mean, it was before anyone had thought to like throw them into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon.
Oh yeah.
Like I think you know.
Spoiler alert.
So that was even a lot of things with, like in the 70s with like different plane hijackings, right? Where they
Yeah.
still just land the plane. They wouldn't crash the plane. It wouldn't be, everyone
Yeah.
expected to get out live of these operations.
Take me to Cuba. Why do you want to go to Cuba if you hijack? the plane?
Ballsiest, give it up for the ballsiest robbery though. Has to be DB Cooper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He jumps the fuck out of the plane. That's
With the
insane.
money,
With
which
the
I think
money.
was only some amount. It wasn't that much. It was like $50,000 or $100,000.
Reasonable.
Which you couldn't even get me to jump out of a plane for that money.
Yeah, exactly. But to fucking build a heist for that much and then jump out of a plane for that's insane. But inflation.
People,
Inflation.
people
What
jump
is that,
out of
like 1,000
airplanes.
today, almost a mil.
Yeah.
Probably. Still not enough.
Still
It
not
also
enough.
shows how not serious of a crime it was at the time.
Well, and he was dressed. If I remember right, he was like dressed in a suit
Mhm,
and all
so
that stuff.
get in.
The weird thing is you didn't have to give him your real name when you would get on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back in those
DB
days.
Cooper.
I know, and they think that DB Cooper was just made up, but
Yeah, of
that
course, yeah.
anybody could just like walk in on the
So
plane.
did he like present an ID at all? You think no? Just
I know.
Or some fake ID, just something that was like literally.
his library card.
Yeah.
People tell me some people have lost their ID and gone on airplanes. There's a way to do it. There's a way because they got records.
Security wasn't shit before 9/11.
No.
On an airplane, like okay, so I was a engineer for DirecTV corporate where I would build satellite systems, and literally I could go on any rooftop before 9/11. After that, you had to have clearance. They had to do background checks.
Yeah.
They almost had to do a daily, making sure you're
Who you say
okay
you are, yeah.
and that you're in the right mood.
Yeah.
Like even today or a couple days ago with this shooter, people noticed him on a roof. He bought ammo just before it. Okay, again, I'm not sitting here pointing fingers, definitely because we don't know any facts at
I
all.
think his father bought.
Apparently it was his father's gun, but if we could just take our heads out of our devices, I won't say what, I'll keep it Disney. Take your heads, if we can, as a country, if we can take our heads out of our devices, actually start giving a shit about the people around you,
Yeah.
even if they're just a fellow human being walking down the street, and you go, "Hey, Dayton," you actually make eye contact with them. Go, "How are you?" There's times where I'm in between shows and I won't even look up, and I'll realize, "Oh, I haven't looked at you. Hi, how are you?" And sometimes it's even just that, making eye contact, being genuine, having a conversation with your fellow human being They might not be up on a rooftop with an AK, whatever, and a lot of these guys always look the same. It doesn't matter if it's a school shooting or if it's on Trump's life or what it is. They always look like young white guys that can't get laid. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, it's especially when it's like the same kind of confused general motivation, right? Like with all these different like lone wolf shooter types, like it fits a particular pathology.
Well,
otherwise
they
like,
found bombs. They found bombs in his house. I'm like,
they found explosive materials in his car, explosive materials at home.
I'm always surprised about that.
Doesn't he live with his parents?
Yeah,
I also think of like William Hinckley, who's the same way.
Yeah.
Well, not the same way, obviously, but he had this weird, fixation on Jodie Foster, and like it made all this attempts to impress this woman.
Yeah,
leading up to him,
multiple
just,
ones,
like,
right? Actually went to her school.
Yeah.
Actually wrote her letters. Actually, and the Secret Service was involved.
Yeah. And then ultimately escalating out to the point where he like fires at him,
he's out of jail now, isn't he?
Yeah, he was for parole.
Well, there were conspiracy rumors that
because he was declared legally insane at the
no,
time.
his family,
but he's fine now.
His family and the Bush family were good friends.
After like 40 years in prison.
By the way, why do they have to say someone's legally insane when aren't they? Aren't they insane? Aren't you insane to shoot someone? Unless that person's hurt you or your family, or you're trying to protect yourself or something like that.
Well,
I mean, isn't that in itself enough to say you're crazy? Because you shouldn't kill somebody. You got a problem with somebody like this kid. Whatever his whatever he was doing it, whatever his reasoning was, couldn't he have worked it out?
I mean, it depends on the context, right? Because we also live in a world where countries go to war, right? But that's okay.
We might never know.
Right?
But that's a whole bunch of guys with small penises that look like the shooter today.
But we'll never. I don't
Well,
think
yeah.
we'll never
Well, they're
even
just
know.
older and wear suits and got a tie that
Well,
go
I
down
mean,
to their.
in terms of like how we rationalize it,
We'll
right?
never
It's like-
know why because it's secret. They're never gonna really tell us.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there's a confused motivation behind it. But I think again, there's like these different reasons why these things happen, right? Versus like you think of like people involved in some kind of interpersonal conflict, people killing for money, people
Just
killing to
attention.
defend themselves, people killing as part of a cause, like these.
Oh, murder for a cause, sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there's also varying levels of causes, right? Like people don't just blow themselves up often for confused mental
Yeah,
reasons.
I want to close
Yeah.
your parking spot.
No, yeah. Like,
But somebody died there. He did.
Oh yeah, that's where it's not funny.
yeah,
He
someone
did
killed
shoot-
in the crossfire.
Yeah, he did
Three
shoot
other people were
somebody.
shot in
Yeah.
the crossfire as well. So it's actually a mass shooting as
It
well.
was like two. Yeah, it's like two got critically injured in their unstable condition. There was Trump and then the guy that died. I think so. I think there was a
Yeah,
total
one
of
guy
3 or 4
died.
people.
Yeah.
And that means he's gonna win the election now.
But it's like
What does that mean in multiple levels? So we were going through 2 weeks of, by the way, we're about there. We were about 2 weeks into the whole Biden needs to drop out of the race because he fucked up during the
debate.
the debate.
Hey, thank you. And so everybody was putting pressure on him. Then there was this thing this weekend, which instantly squashed that or put it on hold or whatever it did. But nobody's talking about that now. They're all talking about him. So a couple things. He almost gets shot. Well, he did get shot. But then right before he leaves the stage, he's got the bloody face and
The big picture moment.
the big picture moment, which is isn't that the reality star?
Mm-hmm.
That is the reality star
That's
going.
the free press.
This
That's
is
victory
the
lap.
opportune moment to get my face out there. And this is an image. It's funny because it's almost like he posed for it. He's coming out of them like this. And there's the American flag above his head.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, they say a picture is worth 1,000,000 words. Wow.
I don't
And
think
I
think it's the first time he got shot at. Though.
So
I mean,
it depends on the first time he talks, how he talks. If he talks like he has, like he's had a life-changing experience. If he's still spewing his rhetoric, a lot of these things, or if he's gonna bring it down a notch, if he actually learned something from it. But Trump learning something from it, I just don't see it. Apparently, I think today he announced his running mate, which was JD Vance, but I didn't hear that. So I didn't hear the tone or the cadence of his voice, but I'd like to hear it. Because there's only been like one report, and I forgot which newspaper it was, but it was in print. You couldn't hear it, you couldn't see it. And so it sounded like, what did he say? He said basically the political climate's getting too hot. Everybody needs to tone it down. Basically said the same thing that Biden said. Yeah. This is fucking politics, folks, not someone's life.
Oh, yeah. Well, these things all involve larger things than just the people involved, right? I don't get the sense that Trump...
It's all bigger than that. Yeah.
Well, I think like the MAGA movement's so much bigger than Trump. You know, like Trump is a particular personality that has its own interests, right? Like MAGA, like it's very different from like the Trump brand, which has to behave very differently because it's also like an election campaign, right? So
well, the MAGA movement got started by the Reagans, didn't they?
Well, it got started by a lot of people. The Tea Partiers, the embattled Tea Party, right? Who were no longer like the newbies, but now we're like the establishment.
Yeah, but by making it MAGA, he's kind of almost like Trump is actually almost like the originator of it. But you're right; it all goes back to other.
I mean,
he's not as fervent for his ideology as his base is.
Make America great again. That slogan was actually used by Reagan at first.
So he like constantly makes positions that he walks back. Why? Because he's just making them for the meme, for the moment, because he understands how he has to get the movement across. But the same thing is, he's also pretty, I think generally as a president, he's much less competent than he is as a business person, right? Which is what really messes with him politically. Then the problem is Biden. Biden's very necrotic, right? But the party really needs to be able to push the candidate forward in order to be viable because they don't quite, a lot of the old guard isn't quite ready to remove him. And especially now at this moment, it's like makes it very difficult to like try to politically maneuver when it's so likely to look like they're trying to deface a president who's lucky to be alive. Right.
That's true.
Right.
So like we see how we're kicking the political football. Like now it's on like the DNC to move. Now we're kind of looking at the GOP picking up steam. And so these things are happening. But again, the media and the stuff folks having this voice are already so far behind where a lot of people are at. And I think the reality is people are generally disengaged from the political system. Or at least in terms of voting, right? Like people are still talking, they're still engaged, they're still active. But in terms of who are the DNC and who are the GOP, who they're fighting over to vote for in November, that race is really hitting up when most of the people, we're already where we're at,
I haven't voted in years. Like I always fill out the ballot, but I never put it in the mail because
I don't know what's going on.
Because they make me get my own postage. I'm like an American. Why can't they pay for my ballot? Why I gotta pay for it? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Why you already gotta make me do all this shit?
But it takes me like an hour to fill out the stupid ballot, and they make me vote for stuff I don't even know, like judges. I don't know these judges, But yeah, it's like it's real crazy. When was the primaries and all that? It's like after a while, when November rolls around, I think most people are gonna be tired of it, and they're just going to wish that these people would just go away and stuff. A lot of people are really tired of it already.
Yeah, so it's like so it begs the question, what happens when enough people disengage?
Well, it's like a television. The presidential race is like a television show now. I mean, CNN's ratings are... So I figured that, this is just a way of getting us to watch, but...
Yeah, Trump's good TV.
I have a feeling one of these two guys aren't gonna make it to November. Something is gonna happen. I'm not even sure,
we've seen that something. Just sensation tip. We saw what happened.
But the weird thing is that a lot of liberals wish that Biden and Trump would both die. So it's kind of weird how they're like so bloodthirsty over that. Like they're hoping they both die. It's it's really weird, but it's like. But I come from a country, I was born in Chile, I was born under communism. A year and a half later, there was actually a coup. They overthrew the...
Allende calling communism.
Yeah, Allende got overthrown.
That's a real Chilean
But
thing.
no, what I'm saying is, that's a real coup,
Yeah, that's real shit. That's some real political violence that happened.
And people get all uptight, but I'm like, it's like... Is it really that big of a deal?
Is January 6th that big of a deal when you're like comparing?
Yeah, I mean, January 6th wasn't even a coup. I mean, they were
the coup attempt. Like all the SF liberals talking about the coup attempt.
Yeah.
Like it was so absurd. You know?
I mean,
but then you also kind of realize
Yeah.
where like the meter is in terms of like discourse. So when
Yeah.
all these people, like all these like news pundits, start repeating that same stupid talking points, you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, these people are also uneducated in basic civics. They
Yeah.
don't know anything about Chile.
No.
They don't know anything about world history. So that's why they just say these things over and over again, because they're uneducated, or they're just
And do you know the
partisan.
date? Do you know the date of that coup? What?
September 11th.
September 11th.
1979?
73.
73.
73, September 11th. And that guy was in power for over 20. He was in
Years.
Pinochet.
And he got arrested in Spain, right? Like, before
Yeah, was it England or
England, yeah, he came to.
He was in England
on a transfer on a flight or
because
something.
he was good friends with Margaret Thatcher and stuff.
As soon as she was out of power, he got snatched.
Yeah, but
he was able to retire and everything.
It goes back to like that game in Miami, the Copa America, where half of the people in the stadium had no tickets and they just kind of pushed their way through. And then, like, at the end, there was no violence, even though this crazy shit happened. I mean, it took like an hour and a half to play the game, but there was no violence. There was no crazy shit going down. But something could have happened. You know?
Yeah, it was a very dangerous situation.
And people felt bad for the people who had tickets, couldn't get in. And my thing is like, yeah, I mean, they got to have better security and
But also,
stuff.
what happens when people are so dispossessed from getting to enjoy the thing
Yeah.
they love the most, right? So when you make, like, you know, these big events, when they become so exclusive over something that's
Yeah.
so popular amongst the people, and tell them, no, you got to pay $200 fucking dollars to be able to get into this venue.
Oh,
And
yeah.
of course, they're going to storm the gates. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about tickets that must have gone for like $1,000.
Exactly.
You
And
had
American
Messi.
dollars.
Yeah, you had Messi. And then people are like, I'm just going to climb the fucking wall and get in.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for the person who paid $1,000 for
Yeah.
a ticket and who lose it out for somebody who couldn't afford it.
Hey, I'm Latino. They should have realized it. How the hell we got into this country anyway? We pushed our way in, dude.
Yeah.
So how you gonna keep us out of a fucking stadium if you couldn't even keep us out of your own country? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I didn't feel bad for the rich people.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like maybe why didn't I try that for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl?
They're doing it. I think we
I
got
know.
someone.
How
But I
ma-
think that's really how like it works with like
Yeah.
a lot of these things in society. It's like people are always gonna get screwed over until it becomes impossible.
But how many
Right.
people do you think they would need? How many people does it take to storm a stadium?
Well,
I
it just
mean,
depends on how like bad the city is at managing their stadiums too.
yeah.
You know, because some places like these venues have taken a lot of flack for just how dangerous they do their big events because they're trying to save so much money. So I think part of the thing there now is with these international football events, they make them super exclusive. They make them big draws for
Yeah.
cash, but then they themselves are incompetent, don't know how to manage them, don't know how to get a police
Yeah.
line ready.
My thing is like, first of all, why this thing is in Miami? They should have put it in Kansas City, somewhere that people would be pulling this shit. But in Miami, I'm like, you knew, and there's a lot
It's
of
too hot. People are ready to do stuff.
there's a lot of
now, you know?
Colombians in Miami. I don't know why there would be that many Colombians in Miami,
I mean, it's proximity.
except for
Yeah,
the
you could see
drug
them all.
trade. Maybe the drug
Colombian,
trade.
yeah, it's very sure.
But yeah, you know, it's like even I was in Vegas. They had a rally. They had a Trump rally, but it was like 110 degrees. Who the fuck? I'm like, anybody who was at this Trump rally when it's 110 degrees outside. I mean, the FBI should be investigating them because they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, they're
you know?
lunatics. They should be on a watch list.
Yeah, but
listen to his bits in that kind of weather.
yeah, but I'm sure that somebody was gonna. I'm quite sure it's not the first time somebody tried to shoot at Trump anyway. Like, but yeah, you got countries like Arizona where people can walk around with automatic machine guns legally. I mean, how you keep people protected in that kind of rally? You know, some of these states you can walk around with a machine gun. They can't do shit for you. You know, like how are we gonna keep? Trump has a rally in Arizona. Like, how are you gonna keep these people out of there without their guns?
Well, I think the problem is with people when people in this country shoot presidents, they tend to be have a lot of things going on. They tend to have a lot of problems, and they tend to talk about them beforehand, right? So I think that's even some of the criticism of the Secret Service at this rally. Apparently, this guy had been making some statements. He was under some level of like attention
Yeah.
right? And so then the criticism was like, okay, then why was he even allowed to go out there in the first place if there was
Yeah.
like already some level of risk detected, right? Because they'd already received some type of security briefings about that rally,
Yeah.
right?
But why do it? These rallies should be all indoors, you know.
Trump's not going
It-
to say no to an open rally.
I mean, indoors you
Not gonna say
can
no to
you
it.
can keep people protected. Outdoors, I mean, somebody could fly over with
Have
a,
more seats.
I don't
yeah.
know, with a drone and shoot somebody. One day,
That's the
somebody,
future.
one day somebody's gonna get shot by a drone in one of these
Well, they
things.
already
you know?
get bombed by drones. Being
Yeah.
shot by a drone is like the
Yeah.
next phase in that technology. You know, that'll eventually will be a drone show over in San Francisco, over here in the city. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, yeah. So tell me about your plugs. You got a show in Crockett Friday? Or-
Well, this Wednesday I'm going to be at Rooster Tea Feathers for their comedy showcase, and this Saturday I'm going to be over at the Tap Club in Crockett doing a show over there at 8 p.m. So I encourage folks to come out to Rooster Tea Feathers on Wednesday. They're also going to be on their show in the Crockett. If you're in the Crockett area, I'm never in that area, so I'm pretty excited.
I don't even
to
know
see
where
what the crowd's
Crockett.
like.
Yeah, I don't
It's
even-
like just east of the Vallejo Bridge.
Oh yeah.
So, hopefully these people tip well. I'm looking forward to it. You can also find me on Instagram at Dayton D Comedy. Right here. Right here beneath me. But yeah, thank you so much for having
What
me.
other
Thank you
social
for
medias
being
can we
on.
catch you on?
Oh, that's the only one I'm presently can be found on. Eventually I'll get a website.
And where do you have your calendar? Do you have a calendar posted?
Oh, at my Instagram, that's where I keep everything up to date with upcoming dates and other location details of those 2 upcoming shows.
All right, Chris, you know what time it is. It's your time for your shameless plugs. What do you got going
I'm gonna
bud?
be at Kel's Friday, talking about bearded dragons, and I got my show next Monday. I don't know who's gonna be on there Monday. You can catch me celebrating the rest of SF Hash Week at some dispensary lounge. People should give me free weed though. Why? People stop giving me free weed. The economy's gonna shit. People stop giving me free
They're
weed.
stingy.
They're stingy, god damn it. Hook your son up. The trouble is people realize I'm from Walnut Creek. They think I'm rich. I'm the poorest person in Walnut Creek. I'm on SSI. I don't even get $1,000 a month. I'm a poor boy.
On
And
that fixed income.
I'm
in
the
Walnut
poorest
Creek.
person in Walnut Creek.
It's a
yeah.
rough suburb, Jeff. if you
It's
live on
it's
fixed
a.
income.
I'm riding the little white buses with the old people.
Yeah.
Yeah, catch me at Kel's. Actually, there was a lot of people at Kel's last night. There was a Colombian watch party for the Copa America.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll be
next
out there.
Monday, if you want to be on the show next Monday, let me know.
I'll be here.
All right.
So, all right. I guess that's it for the Rat. And the rest of us at Dayton, we are gone, guys. We'll see you next week here.
Later.
Where do we catch your show, Chris?
Oh, at Kel's?
No, your this podcast.
Oh, where is this podcast?
Right now it's on YouTube and Facebook. So
Oh,
go
yeah,
check it out. And
Facebook.
Twitch. And thank you for all the live listeners
Yeah, on Twitch.
all the way across the board. We'll see you guys next week here.